Hello, welcome back to the channel, and we're now into June, so it's time for that monthly recap video where I look back at the previous month, in this case May's solar generation, how much money that saved me, how much money it made me from SEG, and obviously if you've read the caption for this video, which I assume you must have done, you've seen that that would total over £100, so it's our first month where we've made a payback on our solar panels of over £100. And we're coming up to having the panels for nearly 2 years, so we'll break down where all that calculations come from. So before I continue, please make sure you hit the subscribe button. Thank you if you already have. But if you hit the subscribe button now and you already haven't, it will really help the channel grow and allow me to do more things with the channel. If you want to support the channel financially, you can also join the membership part of the channel, which means you get these videos earlier, and in the future as the channel grows I'll make more exclusive content for members only. Okay, so let's look at some of the figures. So just to remind you that I have 12 Q-cell 385 kilowatt panels on the roof, which total 385 watt, which total 4.65 kilowatts. That goes down into a 5 kilowatt Solis inverter. I have a 5 kilowatt hour pure drive battery, and if you watch this video up here you'll see me debating whether I should change that to a bigger give energy battery or buy another pure drive battery, and asking for your opinions on that. So if you want to have any opinions on that sort of debate, please head over to that video and put them in the comments. Okay, and also that I am currently on Octoput's Flux, which means that I have a low rate during the night for import between 2 and 5 AM, where I import at 14.7p. The normal day rate is 24.5p, and then there's a peak rate between 4 and 7 PM, which is at 34p. And then the export rates change as well for the day, so I don't export anything during that low period in the night. Most of my export is during the normal day period, which is at 15p or 15.08p, and there is a peak export rate between 4 and 7, which is at just under 25p. So my strategy now is to charge my battery at night in that cheap pint to top it back up to full, and then export any excess solar I have during the day which I'm not using, or using to re-top of the battery if I've used any of it in the morning. So let's start off with the generation graph. So this has been the May generation. As you can see, it's been reasonably okay. We use about 6 to 7 kilowatt hours on average a day, maybe a little bit more, maybe about 8. And you can see most days we are generating more than that. However, there's been a few lower days where we've only generated about 3.3 kilowatt hours or 3.4 kilowatt hours. That would be around the 5th and the 3rd of May. But there has been some very good days where we've hit 32.9 kilowatt hours, which is about as much as we've ever seen generated during the day. And May hasn't been the best month. This year we have generated in May 641.9 kilowatt hours, which is about over 100 kilowatt hours worse than last year. And you can see that from this graph, which is my comparison of year on year of solar generation. So you can see the dark blue is from the end of 2022 when we had the panels installed. Orange, we have a full year's worth of data for that from 2023, and the light grey is this year's. And you can see that every month bar March this year has been worse than last year. So hopefully it means we might get a bit of a brighter summer through June, July and August, but that's maybe wistful thinking. So we were significantly down on last year's May. But how we use the electricity and our change in tariff has made a bit of a difference. So When I was with British Gas, which was up until the beginning of April, I was on a standard tariff which paid the same amount throughout the day, and then I was on a seg tariff that paid 15p per kilowatt hour for the last few months, and before that I was paying 5p per kilowatt hour for my seg. So my ways of calculating, my strategy has changed slightly, which has given rise to a couple of new graphs this month. So first of all, let's look at my input. So now I'm importing throughout the night, so even if I don't really need to, it's just beneficial to it, just in case the day is more cloudy, and it just prevents grid pull during the daytime rate. So, and because the export during the daytime rate is slightly more than the import rate during the cheap rate, it makes sense. So, import. I've imported a total of 84.87 kilowatt hours in May. And 79.25 of those were during the low period during the night, which cost me £11.66. And that was 93.4% of my import. During the daytime, I only imported 5.62 kilowatt hours. This is actually mainly when the system is just balancing itself. So sudden peaks where the inverter isn't quick enough to switch to battery, or just grid checking. So that has cost me, that 5.62 has cost me £1.38, and that was about 6.6% of my import. So that's the amount I would actually have probably paid if I was still on the British Gas, assuming that the prices were comparable. And since they're on the price cap, they would be for the daytime rate. So, in fact, my new strategy has cost me £11.66 more than what it would have done previously. However, where this actually gets cancelled out by is via the seg. So, throughout May, I've exported 491.57 kilowatt hours back to the grid, which, you know, is quite a significant amount of that 640 that I actually generated. So it means we only use really 150 of our own power, of our own energy. So of that 491, 401 was exported at the daytime rate of just over 15p. So that's generated me £60.50. And for those 4 hours in the, so that 3 hours at the peak rate, we exported 90 kilowatt hours. So I don't force discharge my battery. I don't think that the payback on it is worth the degradation to the battery. So I don't think for an extra sort of 40p a day is going to make a great deal of difference. So anyway, we exported 90 at that higher rate, which amounted to £22.52, which means that we made a total of £83.03 through seg, compared to our import, which cost us just £13. And I should say that this doesn't include stand-in charges, which are a lot. They're about 60p per day, so you're talking over £20 a month. But it's still, as far as what things I control, this is quite good. So what I should really do is, when doing the maths of this, is now look at how much I've saved. So if I didn't have solar panels or a battery, and I was paying the rate set by Ofgem, so the price cap of which is about 24.5p, I would have had to have used we used about 250 kilowatt hours this month, which is quite a lot. It's more than we normally do. But if I had to pay for that through the grid, I would have had to pay about £45. So, but because of the way that I've done this and having my savings, I've actually saved a total of £34.81 on, sorry, sorry, £43 and 53 pence. I've sort of said my seg was at £83, but if I take off that what I've imported overnight because I didn't really need to do that, my actual savings on the seg would have actually been about £71. So that means we have a total savings that we would have had to pay to an electricity company of £43 and 83 pence, and an adjusted seg of £71 and 37 pence, so that totals £115 and 20 pence, which I can take off my initial investment of £8,500 in August 2022. So it's been a good payback month. And if my import, when adjusted, would have been about £1.38, which is comparable to last year when I was on British Gas, where in May we spent £1.32, but our price compared to our British Gas rate is about 5p per kilowatt hour more, so you expect it to be about 20% higher, which within reason it is. So overall this has been a very, very good month for us. What we can also start thinking about now is how this is going to affect us for the rest of the year. So it should have been a higher value than what we have. So last year, by comparison, we only made from the seg £28, so we're nearly 3 times higher than that. And that's just because we're on a better export tariff, even though we exported slightly less. So hopefully June and July will be better than May in terms of solar output. But looking at how June has started so far, where it's been quite cloudy, it's not looking great. So either 2023 was an exceptional year in terms of sunshine, or 2024 has been a bit murky and grey. Anyway, thank you for watching this video. As I say, please hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you in another video very soon.